Wait. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about scary books, which is why I'm wearing my scariest t-shirt. A couple of years ago I took a course in horror literature at the university, which really sparked an interest for me in reading more scary books. So I will be talking to you guys about books that I have read that I've liked a lot, that have been more or less scary, and then books that are on my to be read that I think will scare me. The last horror book I read was Let the Right One In by John Ajvide Lindqvist, which is about a vampire. It's set in 1980s in a suburb of Stockholm, and it's essentially about vampires. I really liked it. I think it's quite nostalgic for me somehow, because I know I watched the movie when I was like 15, and it's been really popular on and off in Sweden since it came out. I think I read a lot of John Ajvide's books, and I think it's quite obvious that it is his first book. With that being said, it's really worth reading, and it's got a creepy vibe all through it, which is nice. Petition to change the word horror so that non-natives can say it without fucking crying. Another book I read is House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski, and this is a cult classic from year 2000, and I have been thinking about this book since I read it at least once a week. It was such an experience. It is not the scariest book I've read per se, but it's definitely a very mind-boggling read. It is about a family that moves into a house, and when the father starts measuring the house, he realizes that the outside and the inside of the house don't match in size. And so he kind of ventures into the depth of the house to see what's up. And what I really like about it is that it's very unique in how it's written, in that it's got a lot of footnotes and a lot of like notes from another character in the book. So it's like a book in a book in a book, I would say. Which, if you read it, you will see why that's very interesting. I really recommend it. It's quite a heavy read, and it's not something to like speed through, but if you want something that is very special, I really recommend it. The next book I read because it was a part of the course that I took, and it's Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez. The story follows a father and his son when they go to the father's dead wife's family, which are kind of a situation. They are called the Order, they're a cult. It's very like magic centered, essentially. There were parts of this book that were very scary, in the sense that, you know, when you read and you're like, I want to sort of like look away. Wasn't a lot of that, but when that happened, I really enjoyed the book. It's very long, so the momentum is not really kept up all the way. But I've been thinking about this book too since I read it, and I liked it. Another book that was on the list is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, which is not the same story as the series that is on Netflix. I've heard that I haven't watched the series, but I've heard it's like highly influenced, but it's not the same story. It's about a group of people who goes to a house, Hill House, and the owner of the house wants to see if that house is haunted. It's all in the name, actually. I think it's quite a scary read at points, which is so cool. I really like this book. I love Shirley Jackson. I think she is so cool. She was very early in writing that type of macabre. She was very early in writing like very macabre
Macabre. Macabre.
Macabre. She was very early in writing macabre horror. And she was very brave for that. This book is quite slow, and I think you can tell that it's a bit older if you compare it to other horror. But if you're used to reading a bit slower literature, then I really recommend. Next up, and this is also from that course I took, is The Hellbound Heart, which is written by Clive Barker, and the movie Hellraiser is based on this book. And I actually watched Hellraiser like a month ago because I really wanted to watch it after having read the book, and also because of the fact that Clive Barker directed the movie. If you don't know the story, it's about this man, Frank, who is tired of the pleasures of the earthly life and seeks pleasures in a different world. And this sort of captures him in a house, and to escape the house he has to eat people. It's a cult classic, and that's not like an argument in itself, but I think this is a very culty cult classic. The book is very worth a read. I like the book way more than the movie, and this is a short one, so it's kind of like easy to digest too. Another book which was also part of the course that I took was Ring by Koji Suzuki, and it is what the movie The Ring is based on. I like this book very, very much. It is, I mean, if you haven't seen The Ring, I can tell you what it is, but there's a videotape that if you watch it, you die within 7 days. We follow a journalist who is curious to understand why this happens. This is one of the scariest books I read, I think. It gave me the creeps, and I was like anticipating a lot of I don't know, scares, I guess. I mean, obviously it's not jump scares because it cannot be, but I was on the edge of my seat. Now I've talked a lot about books that are a bit like supernatural, or there are more ghostly entities or like otherworldly entities, but then we have Misery by Stephen King, which is human on human horror. That's a lot of H's. It's about an author who is kidnapped by his biggest fan, and she keeps him captive. And it's truly horrifying to read if you can bear body horror. It's a very good book. Then I have a list of 10 books that I want to read. I very rarely buy books. I mostly borrow them from the library, and I picked up a book that's on my to be read list, obviously, the other day, and it's The Mind Reels by Frederick de Boer. Frederick de Boer. This is what it says on the blurb. In a dorm room at her safety school, surrounded by corn-fed boys and contemptuous girls, Alice is losing her mind. I need nothing more. I love when a story is just that bleak, but also says so much. I'm really excited to read this. It's quite a short one. It's just 150 pages. The next one that I want to read is Intercepts by T.J. Payne, which sounds like a rap name. What the blurb says is, Joe works at a facility that performs human experimentation. His work just followed him home. Let me continue because that's okay. The government wanted to unlock hidden abilities in the human mind. They put subjects in extreme sensory deprivation. All the test subjects went violently insane. But the research continued. Today it has been perfected. Almost perfected. Don't do that. Another book about crazy people. Great. I think it sounded so interesting. It sounds scary. I feel like it's going to be quite a stressful read. I don't mind that though, even though I'm reading in the evenings mostly, but I think it sounds so cool. I haven't read stuff about human experiments before. The next one is Woodworm by Laila Martinez. This is the blurb. The house breathes. The The house contains bodies and secrets. The house is visited by ghosts, by angels that line the roof like insects, and by saints that burn the bed sheets with their holes. With their holes? Oh, halos! It sounded cool. It's got very good grades, and I don't only go on that, but heavily so. I thought it sounded cool. We like ghosts, I think. Then we have a very American book, I think. This is The Devil and Mrs. Davenport by Paulette Kennedy, and it's set in Missouri in the 1950s. Anyway, another woman losing her mind. She's hearing voices, but are they not real? Maybe they're ghosts. We'll see. Next book is When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy, and this is the blurb. One night, Jess, a struggling actress, finds a 5-year-old runaway hiding in the bushes outside her apartment. After a violent, bloody encounter with the boy's father, she and the boy find themselves running for their lives. It does not sound that good, if I'm gonna be honest, but people say it's scary and it's probably like a mix between horror and thriller. I don't mind. I think the father is gonna hunt them or something. No, I'm not gonna keep that in. Or? But maybe he's not just a human. Wow, this can be so wrong. The next book is called The Road by Cormac McCarthy. And I found this book on a Disturbing Books iceberg video. It's about a father and his son walking through America, and it's very apocalyptic, and people are killing each other, and the father is sick. I'm not sure how it's going to be disturbing. I guess people eating each other is quite disturbing. I'm really looking forward to this. I feel like it's a classic among horror stories. I also read in a YouTube comment that Irish kids, when they're 16, read this, like in school. So that's, it can't be that bad, right? And then we have Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zeng. I feel like this is going to be about racism. It's about a woman who is a crime scene cleaner, which is a brutal job in itself, but she, the most brutal thing she's seen is her sister being pushed in front of a train. Then we have The Reformatory by Tanana Reeve Du, and this is also about racism. It's about Jim Crow in the South. It's about a 12-year-old boy who is sent to a reformatory. I think it's gonna be awful. I think there's gonna be a lot of racism, or about racism rather, which is always very heavy. On Goodreads, people call this terrifying. So I believe it's gonna be terrifying. And the last book is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. It's about a woman who takes a job as a babysitter for a 5-year-old who paints pictures, and then one day he paints a picture of a man dragging a woman's body into the woods, and the picture gets scarier and scarier. I feel like this is a very classic, like, scary movie. It's given like Sixth Sense or any other movie where kids see things that grown-ups don't. I like the sound of it. It sounds like it can get very scary. These are some books that I have read and want to read as we enter the spooky season. I also do really read scary books throughout the year because I think they give a sensation that not a lot of other books do. Like, it can be quite physical when you read a horror book. What are you planning to read this fall or whenever during the year? Are you like me and you like reading books that are scary throughout the year, or do you mostly keep them to Halloween and autumn in general? Please, if you've read any of my TBRs, please let me know how they are, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!